So you've got free coasters, you've got cassettes, and then you have planetary hubs. And one thing that people often wonder is what's the difference? And when you boil it down, the biggest difference is the ability to roll backwards and if you need to pedal backwards when you're rolling backwards. The second biggest difference is the amount of slack. So on a cassette, when you pedal, you get instant engagement, meaning as soon as you push your foot down and you start to pedal, that back wheel starts to turn. Free coasters, because of the way they work and they freely coast, they have slack. And so when you pedal, there is a little bit of movement before it engages. And so one thing that somebody asked in the Discord, Finity, he says, why do free coasters have adjustable slack? It seems like they'd come with as little slack as possible. How little slack is generally possible? Mine engages after about a quarter of a turn. Is it possible to get that as close to instant engagement? And so the main question here is, why do free coasters have adjustable slack? Why would you want to adjust your free coaster slack? And that's what I'm going to answer in this video. So to understand the answer here, you need to first understand how a free coaster works. So first, to answer the question, you need to understand how free coasters work. On a typical free coaster, when you pedal, you're screwing in a clutch, and the clutch turns, which pushes out teeth that bite into the hub shell and start to spin the wheel. And so without slack, that whole system wouldn't work. What is happening when you pedal on your free coaster and you feel that slack is that clutch is turning, and you have a little bit of turn for that clutch to turn before it actually engages. And so to eliminate that, you'd have to completely redo the free coaster system. And that's kind of what's happened with planetary hubs. Planetary hubs allow you to fakie backwards without pedaling, just like a free coaster, but they don't have slack. And the reason they don't have slack is because the engagement system, the whole system, is much different from the traditional free coaster. Now, you understand how the free coaster hub works. To answer the question, why do free coasters have adjustable slack? It's because some people don't like slack, obviously, but some people need slack. Depending on your riding style and the type of stuff that you're riding, you might need a free coaster with a little more slack so that you can be confident that it's not going to engage on you. One of the worst things that happens with a free coaster is when you're going really fast and you do a 180 and that your free coaster, you're expecting it to freely coast, but it engages. And when it engages, you get bucked off your bike because it's trying to pedal backwards and you weren't expecting to pedal backwards. And so without slack, or with lower amounts of slack, that sensitivity there is very high. It's more likely that your free coaster is going to engage when you do a high speed 180 if you're running minimal slack. And so a lot of people who do big 180s down big stair sets or even over a box jump, if you're relying on big 180s, you don't even want to risk the slight possibility that your hub's going to engage. And so you're going to run lots of slack, and you're going to understand, okay, I'm riding with slack, and so therefore I need to prepare and you need to pedal a little bit differently. But because of that slack, you're less likely to die when you do a big 180 and your hub engages. I'm one of those guys who hates slack. I bought the BSD Revolution on this bike here because I wanted a free coaster, but I didn't want slack. And so with that planetary hub, I have very minimal slack, almost none, and I can freely coast. But it does sometimes engage. Like I did a 180 bar spin at the skate park, and I went to fakie and my pedal started engaging, and it was a very scary feeling. And so if you're one of those people who you need to have 100% confidence that your bike is not going to engage, you want to adjust that slack so you have lots of slack. This gives you more room between the time that the clutch engages and makes it a safer option. All right. If you don't really care about that, you just want a free coaster because you like to do fakies and you want minimal slack, you can adjust it to as low slack as possible, but understand that you're going to need a slack because of the way that the free coaster hub traditionally works. And you can't get around that unless you change the whole mechanism by designing a new hub like a planetary hub. And so that's how free coasters work. That's why there is adjustable slack. And if you have any more questions, you're a big BMX nerd and you want to join the Discord, join the BMX Nerd Discord. There's about 1,300 other BMX riders in this community. They all love BMX. I'm in there to answer your questions, and the link for that is in the description. We'll see you guys in the next video.